Don't forget to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so you know when videos drop. Thanks for watching. I've heard there's wild peacocks in California. Is that true?
Oh yes, there are a lot of wild peafowl in California, and there are 3 major flocks in California. The first flock, which is the biggest one, is in the Palos Verdes Peninsula. Another flock that's very small now in La Cañada, and another big flock in Arcadia, California.
How did they get to the peninsula?
In 1924, Vanderlip owned the peninsula, decided he wanted to have some color and something interesting on that peninsula. And he went on a safari to India, and his friend in India gave him a gift of 6 peafowl. He brought them on the peninsula, put them in a cage, and then 2 years later, they multiplied to about 24 peafowl. He turned them loose, and the rest is history.
Why are they causing problems?
The climate is so beautiful there in Southern California. It's the perfect place for the birds. Not too hot, not too cold, not too much rain. And then people started building their houses, and that caused a major problem because the peafowl now are neighbors to the brand new houses built on that beautiful peninsula.
What are your solutions?
In 1992, I was a paid consultant for the city of Rolling Hills Estates, California, where I spent a full week and I visited all the places where these wild peafowl were actually roaming. And I helped people with solutions such as why peafowl are coming to their place. And the problem is some people had compost piles where the peafowl jumped into and scratched for the bugs. Some people also fed their dogs and cats right in their backyards, and the peafowl found the food and ate it. And of course, that became a problem.
Do you think they should be fed elsewhere?
Well, yes, I started a special program where they had feeding stations in 1992 in certain areas, and people were willing to give up some space to have feeding stations where the peafowl would go, and there would be a moratorium where people who were feeding the birds would stop and the birds would go to where the food was.
Do you think feeding stations work?
They will work only if the residents follow through and no one breaks the tradition of feeding the birds and letting the birds learn that the food are at the feeding stations.
What choices do the people have?
Basically, they have 2 choices with the wild peafowl. Number 1, you capture every single one of them out of existence, or you'll learn to live with them.
How did you get involved with this in the first place?
Well, back in our books, The Wacky World of Peafowl, Volume 1 and Volume 2, and our newsletter, The Peafowl Report, we had many people who were following us, and that was before the internet days and YouTube days, and they said, you gotta come out here and help us with this wild peacock problem. And they invited me out there, and I did a long seminar, which was about 2 hours long, and a news conference for the local cable affiliate, which was an hour long.
Why do some people like them and some people hate them?
The sounds that you hear in the background is a thing that people are disturbed by. The frequency may cause some people to be annoyed with that sound you're hearing now. Like crickets bother me, Mrs. Peacock, they don't bother you. They drive me crazy. The same thing is for peafowl. That peacock sound is annoying to some people and it bothers them. And there's nothing that can be done about it.
Is there anything else you think we should know?
Yes. The local residents were very helpful while I was around in 1992 and also in years past, about 29 years at the date of this filming. I found that most of them like to talk about the peacocks, how much they love them, but they're not willing to do anything to help save the peafowl or even help their neighbors who are annoyed by the peafowl. They seem to think that we're the ones that are supposed to come out, do everything for them, and everything will be okay. I should also say there are other peafowl problems all around the world that we've been dealing with. Not as big as the ones that we see here in the United States on the Palos Verdes Peninsula. There are some places where peafowl are roaming in neighborhoods and they don't belong there.
I think that's all for now. Unless you can think of something else.
Oh yes, one of the things that bothers me the most about the peafowl problem is every year for the last 29 years, right around February through right now in June and July, I get calls from people saying the peafowl are bothering me, and then new people move into their neighborhood and then they don't like the sounds and they say we got to get rid of the birds, and they're just going to have to learn to live with the birds in the Palos Verdes Peninsula because you cannot capture them out of existence as there are too many of them, and the canyons are so deep and wide that the birds will hide. They're very interesting creatures, these peacocks. I thank you all for viewing this video, and I hope this has helped you understand about the wild peafowl problems in California. Order the Wacky World of Peafowl books at peafowl.com.